And welcome to another episode of the Raging Marks Wrestling Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, TNK, alongside
Ravishing Randy, Ramsey. How we doing over there, Broheim?
Oh, I gotta look over the logo.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
doing good.
I'm staring at the camera.
I just looked at it like, oh, I got the
Forgot you had
the
that
logo.
on. Yeah.
Anywho, welcome back to another edition of the Raging Marks Wrestling Podcast. This week is our Wrestlemania Preview edition of the podcast.
Yeah, I'm going to be out of town next week, so we're going to do a little bit of our WrestleMania 40, pretty much predictions or just what we think is going to happen. Preview.
How we think it'll play out, how we think the build for matches have been going.
Yeah.
I know we kind of touched on it a little bit on the last show, but this is more of the formal now that we have a little bit of a clearer idea of how the card is shaping up.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what matches are what night. I mean, obviously for the first tag team match, obviously with Roman.
I mean, the tag match is going to be night one. Both championship matches or men's title matches are going to be on night two.
Yes.
But where everything else kind of falls on the cards, there's still maybe a rumored potential match or two that are out there.
Yes.
I know one that isn't heavily rumored, but there's been a lot of like rumor bombs that are dropping out there. Is the fact that we might get another Mysterio versus Mysterio match at Mania.
Thank you for bringing that up. I didn't want to say it, but I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, are they going to do a rematch? And this time let Dom?
I bet you I'll go even more. I think it's going to be a tag team.
You do?
Yep.
Ray and who would Ray?
So you're going to have
we have
Andrade and Ray versus Dominic and
Santo Escobar.
Yeah.
Escobar, yeah.
It's, if the little hints they drop on Raw with Dominic and Andrade, and then now Dominic helps
Santos. Yeah.
So hey, it's I can see it. Now you get all four of them on WrestleMania, and you get them.
I mean, it's interesting because one of the things that I've seen thrown out there is that they were going to do a hair versus mask match. If it were like a singles match.
Oh no.
Like Ray putting up the mask for Dom's hair.
Can't cut the hair.
Look. I know usually in that case, whenever like hair is put on the line, hair usually loses out.
Mm-hmm.
But like
Ray beat Dom last year.
You did Dom dirty last year.
Yeah.
All right.
Ray beat his son last year.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Dom's owed one this year. And we've seen Ray without the mask.
We have.
I know we have not in WWE. But I mean, we've seen a maskless Ray.
We don't need to see horny Ray.
Old Latino Heat Ray from WCW.
Yeah, the No Limit Soldier Ray. Like I said, horny. He had the two horns like glued to the top of his forehead. He would wrestle in the overalls. Yeah.
Nah. So I mean, that's one match that's rumored. Another match that's rumored that I think is pretty most likely going to happen is the WWE Women's Tag Title match between the champions of the Kabuki Warriors and Naomi and Bayley being the challenger. Naomi and Bianca being the challengers.
Yeah, because, obviously it's the women's tag team title. All four women deserve to be on the card. Whether or not Asuka is injury-free or whatever, I think they could probably work around it, I would imagine.
I'll double down on that one and says that will not be a tag team match and not for the title, but it will be a six.
Yeah, because you got to have Dakota Kai who's healthy, and then maybe they get Jade Cargill who's going to be her debut on SmackDown.
Now, I've also heard that with the potential tag match, that it would be Dakota obviously in the Kabuki Warriors corner, and Jade being in
Naomi
and Bianca's corner.
The thing is, like I said, he said about with injury.
Oh yeah, Asuka.
Asuka has an injury. Then, with Dakota Kai, but they're called Kabuki Warriors, they're not damage control, so you can't really slide her in because it's not a Freebird rule because she's not in the Kabuki Warriors.
Right.
But with that, with the momentum and everything, you want to get Jade Cargill go over, get over. You do that match, that 6-way.
Have her debut as an actual match.
I will say this. I don't know if you noticed this. I'm proud of you for the fact that you were able to get Asuka's name correct there.
Give some thoughts tonight.
And I want to throw a little bit of news in there. I did see something that came out recently about Goldberg being salty as fuck.
I thought of you.
That
Asuka
Goldberg broke his undefeated streak, supposedly WWE, and the fact that he referred to her as Asuka. I was like...
Well, that's why I thought of you, because Bill Goldberg couldn't remember her name. And I'm like, dude, you can have trouble with certain names. It's a thing.
I have trouble.
It's a thing. Dude, I have trouble with a lot of names. Yeah, I'm not making fun.
I got a speech impediment. I can't pronounce...
Hey, I love you. I was just going to say, it made me think of you that Goldberg was in the news, and immediately I thought of you.
I feel like now I need a penicillin shot because of that. I don't want to be associated nothing with Goldberg.
No, dude.
Now, not so much that it's rumor, but just the fact that we still have two teams that haven't punched their ticket yet into the match.
But in the scenario I can see happening 100%.
The undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship ladder match.
We still don't have a set card.
We have 4 of the 6 teams. We have Judgment Day.
Like,
talk about.
Okay, so the ladder match.
You don't see that. You don't see that card, and you don't see that how that.
Well, you said there's 2 more teams added, right? So Pretty Deadly will be.
So all right. Well, wait. So we got Judgment Day. We got DIY. We got New Day. We have the Awesome Truths. That's all Raw side. On the SmackDown side, we still have 2 TBDs. We have one match that's going to be Legado del Fantasma and New Catch Republic squaring off. And then in the other match, we have the Street Profits and Theory and Waller that are facing off against each other. I think, like, of those 4 teams to take up the TBA spots, I think it'll probably end up being New Catch Republic and Theory and Waller.
Yeah.
But I'll go ahead and get some of your thoughts on that. You seem pretty passionate over there, Ramsey.
There's 2 ways that can go. New Catch Republic is in.
I agree. 100% agree.
They're in.
Yeah.
I would say A-Town Down Under is in, but then also too, I can also think that this is the match where they break up, and on the WrestleMania card, we're going to have Waller and Theory on WrestleMania. There will be a WrestleMania. Will they be in a tag team tournament match, or are they going to be against each other?
The reason I feel
sowing the seeds. You're right.
The reason I feel strongly though that A-Town Down Under is going to go over in that match and make it to Mania for that 6-man is just the Street Profits. I feel like the New Testament or the whatever that faction's called now, the Final Testament. Yeah, I feel like the Final Testament's going to do something to cost them the match because they've been in that bitter feud. So they might end up on the WrestleMania pre-show.
I'll say this though. You want the Street Profits in the ladder match.
I see, and that was the only thing that was making me hesitant on it.
You want them on the ladder match because let's be honest with this. Let's be honest. We know R-Truth and The Miz is coming out with the red belts. And we know the New Catch Republic is going to come down with the blue belts. I'll put money on that.
Now that you say that, I absolutely see that happening.
Yeah, they're definitely. I think they're definitely going to utilize this to split the belts. I do know that Awesome Truth's going to win one set. So yeah, they're going to win the Raw set.
I love that.
And New Catch Republic because
Triple H's been really high on them.
Those are Triple H boys.
Yeah, Triple H's been really high on them. As a matter of fact, Pete Dunne has been doing like production. I think maybe for when they're trying to do the NXT Europe, where they're trying to set that up behind the scenes. So,
but I see it like that. But the only thing I see about the Street Profits, you want them in that setting because
you just want Montez Ford flying around. That's like the big
Angelo
thing.
Dawkins shit too.
Angelo Dawkins can too, but I would say Montez Ford.
He would have the high spot. He would get
He would have the Jeff Hardy moment.
He would have I would agree with that one.
Because when you got Kofi, Xavier, Johnny Gargano, Finn. Excuse me.
Finn and Damien.
And then you got not Damien. I'm talking about like some of them.
Oh, just like the high flyer guys. Okay,
guys that can do more acrobatic shit.
I'm sorry.
You want to go with that to that motion would be. I don't think. No against Theory and excuse me. I'm gassing.
That's what I said that.
Between Waller and Theory, I don't see them doing those type of moves off of ladders and making those.
I would see them as a team that would be getting buried in the match.
Yeah, I agree. I
mean, granted, I know we have Judgment Day in there, but I feel like Waller and Theory could definitely get other guys over by being the fall guys for certain big moves.
That's kind of the way I look at it too. I see it being
I also have the strange feeling that, like I said, Miz and
R-Truth
will win one set of the belts. But then in the back of my head is R-Truth going to make it to Philadelphia?
Oh, do you think he's gonna be like at the Hammerstein Ballroom? You know, he
might be at Philadelphia, Mississippi.
No, he's definitely showing up for that one. The crowd's gonna go crazy if they pull down those red title belts. That crowd's gonna go wild for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say I definitely see them splitting the belts here, which is really long overdue because now that they're not in the bloodline anymore, there's no need for it to be consolidated.
No,
and I do feel like both brands would benefit from having their own tag champions again. We have brother versus brother, a tale as old as time. We have Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. Well, how do we see this one playing out?
This one, man, you're like, dude. Let's see. I really don't know. You can go either way, and I can make the argument for either one. If I had to guess, I mean, maybe Jimmy solo helping him, but I think Jimmy could use the win because I think Jay's gotten over so much with the Yeet and being main event Jay. He's had his moments. Maybe give Jimmy the moment, but
I don't see Jay needing the win as much as Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy needs it more.
Jimmy has been the punchline for so long.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been the guy that whenever the bloodline has been in a match, he's the one that's
you can
the
continue
majority of the time.
He can continue with the no Yeet for longer, and it extends the feud. I just think Jimmy winning just makes more sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've got Jimmy winning this one, and again, to a lot of the points that you brought up, I kind of feel like, especially if my predictions play out the way they do, it'd be interesting if, Jimmy wins.
Yeah.
Everything else plays out, and then we question, like, what's going on with the bloodline. Who's really on top, you know what I mean?
Oh,
so
yeah.
We'll delve more into it a little later in the predictions, but
I say this. For Jimmy to win, needs an interference.
Yeah, of course.
Well, yeah.
How many matches in WrestleMania we're going to have interference on? Because we already know there's going to be interference with the Cody and Roman. I have a feeling we're going to have interference between.
The tag team match will have him.
Not the tag team match. I'm talking about the tag team match, and then also with Seth and Drew.
Oh, I think
there's going to be.
Dude, we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, but I know. I see where you're going. I see where you're going.
There's too many interference. Then you still got Io Sky and Bayley. You're going to have so many. There's so many interferences that can happen.
But if you do it with special guests or like people making returns, I think the crowd will accept it. But for the other ones, we know who's going to do the interfering.
I mean, how many times is that? That's
going to be a lot of interference.
Is that solo spot for WrestleMania just to interfere all matches?
Pretty much, because I mean,
that's going to be the.
I mean, he's going to be involved in the tag match. He's going to be involved in. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to those matches. But we then have LA Knight versus AJ Styles as the next matchup on the card.
Love AJ's. I love the fact that he has so many great matches with so many like big name superstars at WrestleMania. Like if you look at his like WrestleMania matches, you're like, holy crap! Skip the Shane McMahon one, but like obviously,
even with that match, he made Shane look good.
It was a pretty decent storyline, I guess. Okay, storyline leading up to it, and he did. And fucking opening match over with Christian, whatever. But yeah, look, Chris Jericho, Edge, Undertaker. He's got hair.
What?
No, he keeps banging on the table. So
oh, sorry. Sorry. Thank you. I was like, that was a present. Or like it was a t-shirt from like AJ Styles. Yeah, he had like the Edge, obviously Chris Jericho, Shinsuke Nakamura, Undertaker. I can't remember what he had last year. Oh, he had Randy Orton one year. So like this year he's having LA Knight. I just love that he gets these big matches at WrestleMania. Who do I see going over? Ooh.
I see LA Knight.
It's got to be LA Knight, yeah.
I feel like AJ has shown time and time again that he has no problem putting somebody over on the big stage.
LA needs a big win. He hasn't really had one. This makes it at Mania, yeah.
I think he would benefit more from a win here than AJ Styles would.
That's 100%, yes.
So I mean, my prediction would be LA Knight as well. We have the U.S. Championship match, which right now it's just announced as Logan Paul versus Randy Orton, but The heavy rumor and innuendo is that Kevin Owens is going to be thrown in there.
Well, Nick Aldis said Aldis confirmed it. Yeah, he on SmackDown
Right.
he did. No, on SmackDown he did like when on SmackDown, like right when they were trying to figure it out, when Logan Paul berated Nick Aldis, he went to the ring. Randy Orton came out.
That's right.
Kevin Owens.
That's
he made it
right.
official. He made it
That's
official.
right. So take that back. We have a triple threat for the U.S. Championship.
And what Ramsey was talking about last week, or last time we did a show, it pretty much the way I summed it up, or maybe we talked about this off air. I totally see Logan Paul receiving one of the craziest RKOs in all of WWE history, or he's going to try to. He's going to springboard super high. Randy Orton's going to catch him, and then, like what Ramsey said, and I agree with this too because I see it playing the same way. KO hits Randy Orton with the stunner, pins Logan Paul. KO was your United States Championship because I just don't think Randy Orton needs it. But again,
Randy doesn't need it. Has he won that belt?
oh, that's a good question. Probably. I'm going to say yes, but I don't remember.
Because I was going to say, I mean...
Wait, now I'm questioning myself because SummerSlam's in Cleveland.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh, he has one
One time.
One
He's
time.
one time.
Okay. So, SummerSlam's in Cleveland. Do you want to keep the United States belt? Who's on a social media guy, and then his brother's fighting Mike Tyson. Maybe he can be in his corner holding the belt. I could see him holding the belt.
I got Logan Paul retaining,
Yeah.
and I think the fact that you have it set up as a triple threat match
gives it easy.
you can then have a feud between Orton and Owens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because maybe one screws the other out of that opportunity to win the belt.
Yeah.
Especially, like, I feel like Kevin Owens would be the one. He's been like this ticking time bomb waiting to go off because he feels like he keeps getting screwed time and time again.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, you know, he's good as a face. I think he's even better as a heel.
Oh, 100% agree with that, yeah.
And so, like, if you use that to do a turn with Kevin Owens, I think that Owens-Orton feud would be great. And again, Logan Paul, I feel like you benefit from having the belt on him longer.
100%. It just because he's such a celebrity and star, and it just makes him reiterate some of the brand.
Okay, I like your thinking, but Logan Paul loses it to Kevin Owens, and then the rematch will be the next month in France because Owens is from Montreal. He is French Canadian. He can go to Paris. Him and Paul. And then you can play flip the belt over back and forth.
You could.
What's even bigger? Had Logan Paul win it back in Cleveland. That's even bigger.
I mean, he's okay. So here's the thing: you could take the belt off him because, like, this is a whole nother ramble. But like, we'll talk about this later. I was like, I foresee Logan Paul fighting an actual celebrity or a big name at SummerSlam. That's just how I foresee it.
Who do you think?
He don't need the belt.
He doesn't need the belt for that. So yeah, I could totally see what you're saying now. Make more sense.
I also think of this too is, I think if they're going to do what I think they're going to do, and I know I'm going into a future match, but if Sami Zayn wins the title and Kevin Owens wins the title, I think that's fucking great. Because as much as the how Vince used to shat on him, and like now it's like, oh no, let's put him on. We're gonna keep it moving.
Well, that's interesting that you bring up Sammy because the next match up that we're going to talk about is going to be the Intercontinental Championship match, Gunther versus Sami Zayn.
Now you can say maybe by the time WrestleMania it will be a triple threat because
Chad Gable, perhaps.
with Chad Gable, but I think I'm gonna be honest with you. Put Chad Gable in that match. I think Sami Zayn's coming over the top.
I see, like,
you have to.
There's a part of me that wants Sammy to win, but I don't see Gunther dropping it at Mania.
You need to start making his push for the world title. Keeping an Intercontinental title, I don't think it's not going to do anything. He wins the Intercontinental. If he keeps the freaking Intercontinental title on, wins the World Championship later this year. How does that help out it actually decreases the value of the IC belt.
Because nobody can beat him for it.
Yeah.
Point.
And so then you put up a tournament, then it's like, all right, now you have the belt that's okay. No one could beat him, so now.
The only thing that I'm thinking about is like, okay, you save that for a little bit because we don't know the story's going, but I see what you're saying. Because like,
you can have Sammy pin if you would bring in
If you bring in Chad Gable,
and Chad Gable eats the pin for Sammy,
I see that happen.
Then do it. But also too, it's like, okay, you can do Sammy. That would be his biggest fucking victory in WWE.
His career. Yeah. So like I said, that makes more sense. Yeah, they could probably makes more sense to put Gable in a triple threat, which could happen. You could say the fan backlash, and then Chad Gable takes the pin, and that way Gunter's still unbeaten.
But the big thing that was brought up was the fact that in that scramble match, the ref counted the 1, 2, 3, but Gable's shoulders were clearly
really
off.
Yeah.
He didn't bring that up at all.
I know, the week after.
The week after. And I'm like, if that were me and I'd be pleading my case about how I should have one more match, I'd be screaming it from the fucking mountaintop.
We'll see what happens tonight.
I just feel like that was maybe a drop ball right there where if you were to say, oh, he's got a case to be in that match, it's like, there you go. But if he's not even clamoring for it, well then shit.
Good point. Because he didn't. I thought about that too. I thought he was going to go that way, and he didn't.
I think it would be the fans that will encourage them to put him in there.
Yeah, because the comment section that I've been reading, it's been a lot more like people are. You have a little bit of your Sammy fans, but majority of it's been like behind Gable. So
I mean, the backlash on social media after Sammy won that match was pretty loud, and Sammy was even surprised himself that the fans turned on him like that.
Oh yeah,
it's like
because you set it up to be Gable this entire time, and then you come out of nowhere with Sammy. Although he's been doing this whole redemption arc, but
I just kind of feel like if you were going to go that route, you kind of build Sammy up a little bit more leading up to it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, literally, and again, it's like a classic WWE trope. We're showing the vignettes about Gable. We're showing vignettes about Gable in the build up to that gauntlet match, and then he doesn't win, and it's like, well, what the shit? You've been like priming me for this.
I'm actually okay with that.
Well, yeah, it's a nice swerve. I just feel like they could have built it up.
They're building him up, not for this year, for next year.
They're building him up.
No, it's the true babyface story. Hey, we're going to build you up. He can't win the big one. He can't win it. 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 And finally,
he's absolutely right.
Build it, and then finally you can win it.
Still say should have been Kurt Angle's illegitimate son, but that's just me. Moving on to the WWE Women's Championship match, we have Io Sky, the champion, going up against Bayley, the Women's Royal Rumble winner from this year.
Oh, 100%. Bayley all the way. Just, it's her time. And she's getting over with the fans. She hasn't had a WrestleMania moment. She won the Royal Rumble. It has to be her. Io Sky's held the belt. God, I'm trying to think what she won it. Did she win at SummerSlam or September?
She won the Women's Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that was in July.
And then cashed it in.
I think she cashed it in right after Bianca had her match with Asuka, maybe.
SummerSlam.
I want to say SummerSlam she held the belt. So she's had it for a while.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. But she just kind of had a lackluster...
I mean, like, I can't think of too many title defenses of hers that have really jumped out as been like, ooh, that was a phenomenal match. I mean, not that they were bad by any stretch of the imagination, just... Nothing that really stands out as like, ooh, okay, that was like a marquee moment as a champion. And I mean, they have made Io and Damage Control look good the last few weeks, like build them up for the inevitable fall.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, look, Bayley's been due a WrestleMania moment for fuck ever. I think the highlight of her WrestleMania moments was when she was a co-host.
I was going to say, that when she was the co-host, I think at WrestleMania 37, when she was just being like a dick to everybody, like, that made me laugh really hard.
Yes, I mean, she's long overdue. It'll be nice to see her finally get crowned as champion on the biggest stage.
Yeah, she's earned her. She's more than earned her moment, and yeah, she's going to get it this SummerSlam. This WrestleMania.
On the flip side of it, we have the Women's World Championship match. We have the defending champion in Rhea Ripley going up against the man Becky Lynch.
I know Becky was clamoring for this to be an opening match, which I can totally foresee happening. But
I mean, like, look, supposedly it was supposed to be a co-main event, and we obviously know the men have dominated that, and it's going to be the men,
both
whether you like it or not. So I mean, like, look, if you're not going to be the last match, not bad thing to be the.
First of all, there's nothing wrong with being the opening match. Opening match to me is so exciting because like it sets the tone for the rest of the card.
You want to be the first match or the last match?
100%.
You don't want to be in between.
No.
You don't want to be the second match. That's for damn sure.
No.
I mean, like,
unless you're LA Knight and AJ Styles, then you might be in the middle of the match, and then you don't want to be the matches after that card, after that match.
Yeah, that would be
yeah.
I think obviously, man. I mean, how can we
first thing? The opening match got to be the ladder match.
One night, yeah.
Night 1 ladder match. Let's just go right off the bat. Let's go.
No, because you could put that in the middle because the crowd's going to be wanting that no matter what. I think the crowd's going to... If you have
that first, get your high, get your things, get that there. You want that in the daytime. You don't want that at nighttime.
That much I will agree with you, yes.
You want that at nighttime, you know.
And we're in the Eastern time zone, so you got to
unless there's like this major debut that you're gonna, which I don't think they're going to, because all the spots will be filled unless they add another team like they did a couple years ago.
The Hardys.
With the Hardys. But at nighttime, because there is a certain team from fucking TNA that's free agents.
I just don't see that. I love it, but yeah, I don't see that.
Yeah, no.
My favorite thing is that on Woke Culture, they were like, I forgot what's the guy. The guy that keeps rubbing the fucking pin. I can't fucking.
Oh, they made fun of that so much this week on the. I don't know his name, but yeah.
But like, he always fucking rubs his fucking pin. He's always like.
That's all the comment section was like,
dude, stop! Like, stop with the fucking pin.
It's a thing now. It's gonna be a thing.
But he was like, they deserve to be more, have a more presence on viewership and on cable TV. So they definitely would have to go to AEW. No, motherfucker. What you just said, they need to go to WWE. You want more views? You want more television coverage? WWE, not AEW. Look at the fucking numbers. I'm like, just sitting there, I'm like, he's got a fucking hard on for AEW. Because he literally says, WWE is shit. I'm like, dude, why are you going to WrestleMania then?
Dude,
why are you going to WrestleMania?
Because the company is going.
We could literally do an entire show on this subject matter of the fans, hate, which makes no sense to me.
But he's like, he hates on he told I forgot the code he's stupid.
Adam
Pacitti.
No, that's not even Adam Pacitti.
Adam
Wilborn. Adam Wilborn. There you go. Adam Wilborn.
So like he's like that he's an idiot because he thinks NXT is the best show on best wrestling show, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what have you? What is it? Like, okay, I'm just sitting there like, I'm like, all right, dude.
You're still in that Triple H Vince McMahon realm when Triple H had the black and gold NXT.
And that was fucking annoying people. But just think, there's this big ass fucking flower on it too, like. And then just like,
that was the entire comment section this past week when he because Andy's out, so it's like
fuck.
Yeah, Sandy Murray's been out for a while. Can we get back on task here? Like Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch. What are your opinion?
Well, dude, Rhea's so hot. You just shouldn't take the belt off her.
Damn right she is.
I don't think Becky's the person to do it. And it's like, look, I feel like Becky has had her run. I'm not saying she's done in the main event picture.
Oh, no, absolutely.
But I just feel like it doesn't benefit Becky to win here.
No.
I feel like whenever Rhea does end up dropping the belt, it's going to be to make somebody.
Correct.
You know, and I feel like if Rhea goes over here, it's just going to make her that much bigger. She's already big, but it's going to make her that much bigger. I don't see how you can take the belt off of Rhea.
Rhea will have the belt till next year.
Dude, she's having Roman Reigns-esque
I think the person
dominance.
I think on Monday they're gonna call up a person they will groom to take over and to beat Rhea next year.
So you think these things logically?
Who you think they're calling up?
Roxanne Perez, because that heel turn she has made is fucking beautiful.
The size difference is just.
That's why you do it. David versus Goliath. How you gonna beat Rhea? Who's gonna beat Rhea? The biggest person they got right now can't beat Rhea. So what you do is you beat the giant. The same shit that you're just about to say. What did it do? How did fucking your little boy Danielson fucking won the championship?
Fair point. Fair. But to do it in a year.
How the fucking Rey Mysterio built the fucking championship? First thing, the pedigree. One thing. She's Booker T's girl. She's been assistant, and she's just getting better and better. Now with Shawn Michaels in the mix, she's getting better. Or the next person in line would be Trish Stratus, because she's.
Yeah, but Tiffany Stratton right now is on SmackDown. So unless you do
next year,
I was gonna say unless you do like
there's gonna be a draft. There's gonna be a draft. So
knowing WWE, they're gonna wait for Charlotte to get healed, and then they'll fucking put her in the main event and have her beat Rhea Ripley. It'll be match number 3 for them at WrestleMania. That's just knowing WWE. I know Triple H is in the lead, but they still pushing Charlotte to the moon, and I can totally see that.
I can see that. I can see.
Can
There's
100%
so
see
many.
that
There's so
happening.
many great women right now in NXT that are going to be called up soon. That you can have matches, but like you can build them up.
I'm just gonna say, look, if you're gonna be bringing more women in, and I'm all for it, you need to make that women's tag league, or at least that division, mean something.
I'll do one even better. Dissolve the fucking belts and make a mid-card belt.
I would get behind that.
Fuck the tag teams. Do the mid-card belt. Let's make it even better.
I would get behind it. I'm not necessarily gonna hate on tag teams, but I think
I'm
if
not
you're
gonna hate on tag teams.
Well, no, but I was gonna say
be
if-
real about it.
if you're gonna trade that for a mid-card belt for the women
Yeah,
on both brands, sure.
Hey, we can call it the Canadian Championship in honor of Trish. That would be the women's mid-card belt.
The national hero of Canada. Let's go ahead before we talk about both of the men's singles titles. Let's go ahead and talk about the main event of night one, the tag match between The Rock and Roman versus
Damn,
Cody
we're gonna
Rhodes.
pass up Seth and Drew.
Well,
I just said
you gotta do the
before
tag
we
match.
talk
You
about
gotta do-
both
yeah, you gotta do the tag
men's
match
singles
first.
titles, let's talk about the tag match first.
I
I'm sorry, I'm going deaf in one of my ears. Like,
Yeah.
for real though, I am.
Oh, well, dang, man. No wonder I could hear my reverb on your
Yeah, I was
headphones.
thinking,
earlier.
dude, that'd be killing your ear, man. I was like, I could hear that from here.
I can't hear my
Oh,
left
man.
ear.
No, because I think the tag, like a lot of the stuff that's going to happen in the tag match, is going to influence what happens with both men's titles matches. So
How can it not be the bloodline? It just makes it so much more interesting having the bloodline go over having bloodline rules.
it creates more stakes.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like it would come off way too easy if Cody faces Roman and
So
there's
if you-
no adversity thrown
So, like,
his
if you
way.
have The Rock being the one to put the pinfall on Cody, you could do something with that if Cody ends up beating Roman night 2. Because Rock could be like, I beat you, Cody. Maybe they could have a match. Maybe. I doubt it. But, who knows?
I gotta say though, and we kind of touched on this off air before we started recording, but like I just kind of feel like the dynamic between everybody involved when Rock is not there has been pretty lackluster.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's
Like,
not been good.
That face off that Roman and Cody had this past week on SmackDown, save for the whole, oh, you bring your boys, you're stupid, Cody, you're stupid, I got my guys, and then Cody's like, oh, I got mine. You know, like, except for that whole thing, I felt like their face-off was very lackluster. I feel like Cody has not cut a true, impassioned, white meat babyface promo. Like, The Rock has talked all of his shit on social media, and I don't think Cody has adequately responded at all. I feel like Roman has been neutered.
Dude, The Rock's upstaged him so much. He showed the limitations of Roman, because Roman, all he does is acknowledge me, and then he's got Paul Heyman doing all the talking.
Well, but again,
sorry.
Well, first, let's basically let's put it this, because we have Major League and we have Minor League right there.
Yeah.
Major League Hall of Fame, Major League. Who's gonna out promo the fucking Rock and Paul Heyman? Nobody.
Not many people.
See, but here's the thing.
Cody
to that
Cody
point,
and fucking Roman
to that
is
point
not that
though,
level.
that's why I thought this past Friday was very underwhelming, because it's like you have Roman, you have Cody. That is your main event of WrestleMania.
Of the entire
period.
WrestleMania, yes.
Okay? Those two should have been firing bullets at each other. And I mean, you had a zinger here and you had a zinger there, but it was very underwhelming. I mean, shit. You got The Rock that's going around calling himself now the final boss.
Love it.
And that's a phrase that used to be applied to Roman Reigns. To me, that was a simple Cody, like, shit, man, he's taking all your monikers now. He's taking the final boss from you. Next thing you know, he's going to take head of the table.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to hear him talk no more, because this is the fact that it's like they say shit, the same shit. Like what you just said, they've been talking about it. That's the fucking whole thing. Like, oh look, you gonna let them talk to you? Oh, you gonna let them talk for you?
Or
I'm tired of all that shit.
Or you got everybody talking shit about Cody's mom, and Cody's just sitting there like, oh, I'm going to take it.
Dude, like,
I mean,
Cody gave that impassioned promo, and he got teared up, which I understand because his father passed away. But to The Rock's point, he made fun of him being a crybaby. Didn't help you, Cody. I'm sorry. And then when you retaliate by having your dog wear a bandana that says The Rock is a cat, that's like Seth Rollins' diarrhea Dwayne. It sucks. It is fucking garbage. Like, who thought that would be cool, man? It's lame. You gotta step up, boys. I'm sorry.
And I get we're still technically a little less than 2 weeks away from Mania, but still, it's like they need to step it up.
You're going against Seth, Cody, Roman. They do not have the promo skills going against with The Rock. And The Rock, here's the thing, it's an overshadow. And that's the whole thing about this. Like, this is why last year I said, I don't want the fucking Rock involved. Because what's going to end up happening is going to be the overshadowing. I'm against Rock, period, in all this shit. Because he's overshadowing.
The only thing I'm going to say that's unfair to The Rock is that The Rock has advantages that nobody else has. Because Cody can absolutely cut a great babyface promo. He's done it many times. So the Cody's up there. I'll put him up there. But The Rock can get away with stuff that nobody else can do because he's The Rock. It's just not fair to the rest of the roster because they can't do that.
Look, I'm gonna call a spade because I've seen Roman cut an amazing promo. I was gonna say some of his stuff with Cena was freaking legendary. Like, I'm talking about latest run with Cena, not
I know
2016.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, not that. But I mean, I've seen Cody cut an impassioned promo. Hell, I've seen Seth cut great promos with Drew McIntyre. For whatever reason, though...
That's okay. But...
Yeah, like, just for whatever reason, though, with this interaction...
First thing, when you said Roman, let's scratch that shit. Who is he in the back probably getting notes from?
Yeah, we know it's Paul Heyman.
The greatest fucking
I know
shit
you hate Roman. Stop.
It's not about hating Roman.
Stop.
Let's talk about... There's two groups of promos there. You have Hall of Famers, and you have nowhere near them. And you can just see it. Yeah, they've done a great. Dude, how many fucking great promos The Rock and fucking Heyman done in all their careers? They don't compete. Fucking Cody, Roman, Seth, all of them can't compete with those fucking things. Plus, they have different rules. Fucking Rock and fucking Heyman has different rules on their promos than anybody else. And guess what? It is warranted because guess what? They're the fucking best. And they're great, and that's how they fucking cut their teeth.
No, but like, it's not fair to the rest of the roster because you can get away with saying shit or going overtime and doing this because you're The Rock.
Become the fucking Rock.
Well,
get great.
Look,
get great. Hold on. First thing, let's talk about The Rock. Rocky Maravilla, he got away from that shit.
Oh yeah, of course.
So he was able to get that. That's him. That ain't nobody else.
He took chances during the Attitude Era where you could get away with so much shit, but today's standards and practices, it's unfair to the roster when you can get away with stuff and you have a guy.
A lot of the Attitude Era people have actually said that that's one thing that's kind of handicapped a lot of the roster now. It's like, yes, you have some liberties in what you can do in the ring. As far as your promo stuff, it is scripted to the point where it's
not scripted no more.
It is scripted enough to the point where these are the bullet points you have to hit. And with some people, they give them the freedom to be able to go out there and say whatever they want as long as you hit these bullet points. But there's still a lot of them that are handcuffed and that, no, you need to go out there, you need to say this, and that's that.
Some of them absolutely need to be handcuffed. But to Randy's point, I agree 100% with that. To your point, I don't know, man, because like what Randy was saying, Cody, I know can do good promos. Even Roman's promos that he was cutting against Seth and Cody before the whole thing with the Super Bowl, before the whole press conference in Vegas, like fucking Roman was laying in the zingers and the freaking pot shots at Seth that were getting the reaction, the no pop, everything else, like cutting fire promos. Ever since The Rock's gone in and done his thing, I liked what they were initially doing with Rock overshadowing Roman in those first couple of promos where they shared a ring. But now it's just like literally, even when Roman's standing on his own, they're not really letting him spew the venom like he was doing before. And Cody even sat there and started planting seeds of doubt in that promo on Friday.
But he could have weighed into it more. We could have seen more of that.
So you got two
the
more
seeds of
weeks.
dissension.
They need to fucking get with it.
They got a lot of work they got to do.
Yeah,
Because I was thinking it was straight fire the first couple weeks. These last few weeks, it's been very lackluster.
100%, yeah.
But yeah, I see Rock and Roman winning that tag match to set up Bloodline Rules match for the WWE Universal Championship. Let's talk about the World Heavyweight Championship match, though. First, you got Seth Rollins defending against Drew McIntyre.
All right, let's just get it out of the way, man. Today on WWE.com, Phil Brooks was saying, where's WrestleMania? Philadelphia. What's the first 4 letters in Philadelphia? Phil. Can't have Phil not be in Philadelphia. So he said he's going to be at WrestleMania. Now, whether or not he does that today on the promo, when he then Chicago sold out, I can totally see him interfering this match, screwing DM Hunk over, which I love that shit. He wore that. He wore that today. He's like, my hair's not so good. Are they saying CM Punk or DM Hunk? Yeah, it was hilarious to do earlier. But I totally see him now getting in the way and interfering, which means Seth's going to be champion even longer, which I don't want.
See, now, here's where I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I feel like Drew has to beat Seth.
He has to.
Here's the thing. Like, Drew has been one of the hottest characters on Raw,
dude,
since before the Rumble.
He's been so good since he's hurt.
He's been spitting hot fire.
Yes.
I mean, dude is crushing it.
Oh, 100%. I love it.
I feel like, if anything, and if we want to keep this Drew McIntyre, I keep getting screwed over character going for longer, you have Drew beat Seth. You have Drew win that championship. You have Punk jump him after the match, which then leads to a cash-in from Senor Money in the Bank.
Okay.
Damian Priest. Damian Priest ends up walking out of there with the World Heavyweight Championship. Now you got Drew McIntyre even more pissed at the fact that Phil has fucked him over. And now you add even more heat to that rivalry.
I'm liking everything
when
I'm
Punk
hearing.
comes back.
I'm really liking
What are your
everything.
thoughts on that, Ramsey?
I think Drew's gonna, without the interference with Punk, I think Drew's gonna win straight out. I don't think you're gonna do a Damien cash in not on WrestleMania, maybe on Raw.
He's got.
But I have a feeling.
I just feel like if Punk is gonna be there at Mania, you don't just have him there to be a set piece, or you don't just have him there on commentary or whatever. I feel like he has to get involved in that.
But if he's got his arm messed up, how can he like really get back at Drew?
Because Drew just competed in a match against Seth.
But if his arm's like in a sling, like how's he gonna hurt him? Yeah. What is he gonna hit him with like a? He can't do the GTS, and what is he gonna do? Take like a crowbar? That's a heel gimmick. Although maybe I don't know.
Babyface getting his getting some justice back on the heel.
Makes sense. I mean, he could.
Especially,
I also see that it's going to be a fail cash in for
100%. It's going to be a fail cash in for Damian Priest.
You think so?
100% agree. Unless he goes after like an Intercontinental title, which he's made mention. They planted the seeds with Judgment Day and Imperium before, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I see it as a fail cash in.
I 100% see it as a fail cash in. Yeah, it'll be like the fourth.
I think if he had the Money in the Bank case after the Puerto Rico, if he was the Money in the Bank holder from the previous year, and he had it after Puerto Rico, yeah, I could see them pulling the trigger like that around that time. But right now,
nah, it's been pretty lackluster. But yeah.
I mean, okay, let me rephrase this too, though. I don't see anywhere else on, like, a premium live event. Like, they're going to be going to France. They're going to be going to Germany. They're going to be doing London, whatever.
You got Saudi Arabia.
Or Saudi. Like, I don't see another spot where it would make more sense.
I love your idea. I just can't foresee him.
Do you see Damian Priest headlining as a champion in Paris?
No, that's what I was getting ready to get at.
Do you see him headlining in Saudi?
But he could lose the belt like literally the night after WrestleMania or something.
Do I also see him having a long run with the belt? No.
No, but I'm just saying like.
But I'm saying if you want to build that cachet though with Drew's character and the fact that like
he got
he's
screwed
been
over.
screwed over time and time again. And even when it looks like he stacked the cards and everything is in his favor, he gets screwed over that one more time. Just like, to me, that builds that character even more.
It just makes more sense to have him champion, just griping, like letting the crowd know I'm the best, and just planting the seeds that CM Punk.
He finally gets his WrestleMania moment, and it's taken away from him.
It's a possibility. I'm going to put it at slim chance. I think Drew hopefully wins it clean. And
Look, if he wins it and he walks
wins.
out of there that night as champion, I'll be happy with that too.
I think Drew wins it, and I think if you lose it, then you're gonna have the speculation because it has not been officially said that he's re-signed yet. So like, if he doesn't win, I mean, like, is he really re-signed? Are we gonna lose him? Is he gonna not be leaving WWE? You're gonna get these things again,
man. Because they got Raw's in Chicago tonight. I'm curious what CM Punk's gonna say. They're gonna probably have him as the main,
they're building this. This is a build. It's a slow build for SummerSlam or whatever down the line between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre.
Of course,
that's the money. That's gonna be the money. The money.
Like, I don't know if CM Punk's gonna be ready by SummerSlam, but hopefully
he'll be ready in the next month or two.
I hope.
His injury is not a long. It's like right after WrestleMania, he should start being like getting into the ring.
So, I mean, he had the thing on his arm. It wasn't in a sling, like the long, like almost like an ACL looking thing. That was just up to here, for the knee. But,
yeah. So because the same injury. What's his name? Nick Aldis has the same injury.
Mm-hmm. I thought he tore his bicep. I thought.
He tore his bicep. I mean, like he's in that arm sling, just like Punk.
So he's gonna be. I just don't see how CM Punk could like interfere if he still have that arm in that thing. But he did say he's gonna be there. So what does that mean? It means he's gonna interfere, to get some sort of payback on Drew. Just how? Who knows?
I was gonna say. I mean, there's plenty of other ways for him.
Catch more heat. Get more heat. Get more heat going on in that match, and it's just gonna ride the wave. It's gonna be built.
What's that?
CM Punk can do more with his words than
I actually agree with him.
What he can do with his fist. You put him in the category, like I said. There's a separate category for The Rock and for freaking Paul Heyman. You put CM Punk in that thing.
So then that brings us to the main event of night 2, WWE Universal Championship match.
So you have
Cody versus Roman.
Bloodline rules.
We are under the assumption that it is going to be bloodline rules. Because if Cody and Seth were to win the tag match on night 1, then Bloodline's banned from ringside. No interference whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Quote unquote. We've heard this before. If Rock and Roman win, Bloodline rules. So literally anything goes.
And this is where it's not interesting. It makes me. I hope they don't go down this route. I hope they don't do where like, Jimmy Uso's the referee or Solo's the timekeeper, where like Cody beats him or has him pinned and they just refuse to count, or he refuses to ring the bell or something. Like he keeps getting screwed, and then somebody makes a special appearance. Is it Dustin Rhodes? I don't know if he's still on a contract with AEW. Well, then it can't be him. So.
Or it could be The Rock, because there was a lot of like little subtle hints and Easter eggs, at least in the early weeks of the promo.
That's the biggest gimme, is like it ends up being The Rock, the one that screws Roman Reigns, which makes sense. It has to be. So
there's also a chance that you do have the freaking family down there. You have Rikishi. I know Alpha has been dealing with a lot of health issues as of late,
Mm-hmm.
so get well soon, Alpha. You might have Sika there. You might have like some of him. You might have The Rock's daughter. What's her name in NXT?
I forgot her name.
You might have her involved there. You have your boy from New Japan that's now a free agent.
Fatu?
Yeah, that's out there. So I mean, there's a lot of different options for a Bloodline Rules match. Many different ways it could play out. We don't know. All I do know is, for fuck's sake, if you're gonna stack the cards that heavy against
Cody does have 2 nephews that made their debut.
For him to not win it at this year's Mania, I mean, like, for fuck's sake. Look, you had the chance last year, you didn't pull the trigger. I really don't feel like you can go past this Mania and have him lose.
40. It's 40.
I'll say this. I think if I was the one that's booking this match and scripting this match, you have the bloodline rules, and you start stacking the odds on Cody, and you got the interference 1, interference 2, interference 3. I like all the interferences, but then all the fucking people, all the wrestlers that the bloodline screwed over, come out and start taking out all the bloodline, and it starts clearing out, and where it's just now, it's Roman and Cody.
I feel like at the end of the day, you do have to have that. Whatever interference, whatever shenanigans goes down, at the end of the day, it has to be Roman, it has to be Cody. Just the two of them. And I feel like Cody needs to beat Roman clean.
Yeah, that has to be the result, yeah. You can't, like, have somebody hit Roman. To have, like, LA Knight, maybe KO if he hasn't turned heel by this point. Can't do Drew.
Thing, like,
Sammy,
yes.
I think you'll see, at the end of the day, you'll have, if Sammy wins the belt, KO wins the belt, having them two having belts, coming down, helping out Cody, having everyone who got screwed over, kind of like a big ass lumberjack match, or pretty much, and you have them all all around the ring, and then Cody wins, and then you'd be like, freaking 1990 WCW. Cody wins the belt, fireworks, but you got the whole fucking
WrestleMania 10.
Everybody hoists him up on their shoulders.
WrestleMania 10, yeah.
Not even WrestleMania 10. Like when freaking
I'm trying to think when they
Sting
did.
won the championship.
Oh, it's same thing with Luger. Like, yeah.
Everyone came out and just put him on the shoulders. Same thing like when Ron Simmons won the championship.
WCW did that a lot, yeah.
They did that a lot. Hey, we're talking about WCW legacy.
Exactly. Rhodes, you have to, because the Rhodes finally fulfilled his dream, and that'd be a great way to end.
We already know he's going to come out with some freaking epic American wardrobe for being in Philadelphia.
Homelander jacket's so damn cool. But
I will say this. You know what would be almost like poetic justice? Polka dots.
Maybe an homage to, like, not the whole thing polka dots, but something polka dotish somewhere.
I'm just gonna say polka dots.
He's got to bust out a bionic elbow or something.
He's gonna take it. He's gonna take it back. All right. He's gonna make polka dots cool again. It's gonna be polka dots.
But yes, but I love that theory.
I'm not gonna lie. I wish he comes out of Stardust in American red, white, and blue. I must be the only person in the world that liked the Stardust character.
I liked it. I felt like it ran its course.
I think you still could have done so much shit with that.
Could have, but they had him fucking lose it all the time.
Initially, I enjoyed it because I thought he was with his look. It shows how much he looked up to his brother, and then I know, like with Randy, they didn't know what to do with him. They put him with the tag team from NXT that they didn't know what to do with them, like the whatever.
They put him with Wade Barrett at one point, and it was.
I don't remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like the Galactic.
Yeah, he had like some sort of like faction or whatever. Yeah, crazy, but God, they could have done a lot. It just, I don't know. You can pay an homage to it one day. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm curious what that ring attire is going to be. It better be fucking kick-ass. No Cody.
It's going to be kick-ass. I mean, it's going to be a grandiose entrance. Yeah.
Oh, that guy's going to be awesome. But yeah, WrestleMania 40 is going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
The last 2 hours of the pay-per-view will be, the second to last hour will be just entrances of Roman and Cody. Then the last hour will be the match.
Dude, last year, the Roman Reigns entrance, it doesn't sound like a lot, but come on, think about TV time. Now, matter of fact, it was 4 hours and 40, I had like 46 minutes on my timer. What they did, like the piano thing for Roman last year, so I'm like...
I think they clocked it at like 20 minutes just for his entrance.
Oh, I'm talking about when they finally played the pianos with the orchestra, and like he came out is when I hit the timer, and it took him 4 minutes and 41 seconds to get down to the ring. Now, an Undertaker, shoot, that's a whole other thing. Be a Cody, yeah, I could see that.
Let's talk about what WWE needs to do. Bring Paramore and let them perform.
For Bailey. Yeah.
Please.
Dude, Bailey asked, and Paramore said yes. So, I mean, let's make it happen.
Have them perform it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's go ahead and jump to the other portion of the show, or the other big thing we were going to talk about in honor of the WWE Hall of Fame coming up. We've already had several names that have been announced for it. Of course, the big headliner this year, Paul Heyman. No surprise there as far as him being the headliner.
Oh, of course.
He's like the headliner of all headliners. I mean, we've even had this discussion. Who do you induct? Like when you have somebody that's so eloquent a speaker, and it's like a big intro hype guy is Paul Heyman. Who the hell inducts him? And it's like that's a separate conversation in and of itself. But the man's definitely a headliner. We also have Bull Nakano representing the women's side of things.
Love that. Yeah.
I mean, great choice there. Thunderbolt Patterson, who's kind of like a throwback inductee.
I like having throwbacks. Yeah, you gotta have that.
Guy from the old class. We have a tag team going in the U.S. Express, Mike Rotunda and Barry Windham. This would make Barry Windham a two-time Hall of Famer, also as a member of the Horsemen. And then we have our Celebrity Wing inductee, Muhammad Ali. There's rumor and innuendo that's floating out there that maybe Leah Maivia might be an inductee. Or not Leah, grandmother Maivia. Which actually, maybe that is Leah Maivia. Shoot. But talking about her contributions for Polynesian Pro Wrestling and the like, and being like The Rock maybe heavily behind that. But there's rumor and innuendo circling around that.
Okay.
So that could be another inductee. But talking about, or kind of like the main topic of this discussion is like people that have been snubbed by the Hall of Fame, or like people that jump out that like you're like, how the hell are these guys not already Hall of Famers?
Yes.
Or people that we know are Hall of Fame worthy, but have maybe been blacklisted by the WWE because of certain things.
That's the answer for a lot of them.
So, I mean, granted, in kind of coming up with this list, or like even doing the research for it, I'm kind of surprised that this list is as long as it is. Yeah. I will throw, in a sense, kind of an honorable mention out there, in the sense that these are people that have been inducted in the Hall of Fame, but were basically grouped in as like this massive legacy wing induction where it was like, oh, they contributed to wrestling, but we really don't feel like singling out and talking about them in great detail. So we're going to throw them in as legacy inductees. Names like Bruiser Brody, Wahoo McDaniel, Lou Thez, Lord Alfred Hayes of all fucking people. Guy that was like a voice of WWE in the 80s, even the early 90s.
But by the time that Lord Alfred Hayes was inducting him, there was really like no one to induct him in, and then it was like lost. It would have been lost in with the crowd that you shouldn't. I think that was right, because
you could have still had somebody give like a little blurb on them versus just a quick, oh, these are the names that are going in our legacy wing. Bruiser Brody.
I'm glad they're not doing the legacy wing now. I'm glad they're not doing that. But I'm like, there's a lot of fucking lists. Like, look at the legacy. There's a lot of fucking. Lou Thez was a legacy, so Lou Thez deserved a spot in this. Like, there's not enough time to do for all that.
And like honestly, with the fact that Lou Thez was so like old in times, like who could really speak for him today? You're talking going back like 60 years.
But only would be Shawn Michaels.
You have enough old timers that could give a quick 5 fucking minutes
I'll
or
give you that
something. You know what I mean? Just not hey, here's a quick vignette. Kind of like the stars that we lost this past year video package. It's like, okay, and they're in the Hall of Fame.
Bruiser Brody, in my opinion, deserves a fucking he deserves to be like fully.
And there are more than enough people that are still around today that can talk about Bruiser Brody in great detail.
That one,
fuck, you could have Ric Flair go up there and wax poetic for about 10-15 minutes about Bruiser Brody.
There's still some,
100%. Yeah, no, there's more than enough people that could speak on that.
No, that one I want to see him get his time. Yes. But also, like, there's so many other names outside the legacy wing that, like, you're just like.
Let's just talk. Our headliner is Paul Heyman, so we could even just have a section right now on ECW greats that should be in the Hall of Fame.
That's a great way to start.
And you would think, especially with the Hall of Fame being in Philly, that maybe we would have incorporated more ECW
what sucks
names.
About this is that, like, okay, so Rob Van Dam's already in the Hall of Fame. But like a lot of the guys they have contracts with other promotions would prevent them from being in the Hall of Fame as of today because of the Philly situation. Tommy Dreamer,
Tommy Dreamer's with TNA, so I mean that's understandable. But you also have names like Bam Bam Bigelow.
Oh wait, the Dudley Boys are in the Hall of Fame. I forgot about that.
Dudley's are in as a tag team.
Yeah, we were there for that one.
Yeah, no, Bam Bam Bigelow is a huge name.
Now Bam Bam Bigelow should be in. Dude, he main evented WrestleMania with Lawrence Taylor. He's been around for a long time.
He was a big name in WCW, ECW. WWE for 2 separate stints.
Correct.
I mean, like...
He did a lot of stuff in New Japan. For crying out loud, he was in the... Holly, he did a couple... he was in the Little Giants. I remember being in that movie when I was a kid. Like, he did stuff outside... Like,
he was in He was in Ready to Rumble.
There you go. That's WCW.
That's the reason why he's not in the Hall of Fame.
But dude, just Bam Bam, man. Like, I love Bam Bam, one of the greatest big men of all time, and you don't have him in the Hall of Fame. That's crazy to me. He will be in there someday. Just...
I mean, you also like, to me, Shane Douglas is another one that you could make a case for why he should have been inducted a while back. I mean, one of the top ECW champions, was hanging around the Intercontinental Championship picture for a while when he was in WWE. I mean, that's a name that definitely stands out. Raven, which many would make the case that he's one of the greatest ECW champions, and has also been involved in WWF, WCW, has spent the time across all those promotions.
Both those guys, I absolutely agree. I think they should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I get that they didn't have the greatest WWE careers, but you owned ECW, you owned WCW. Those 2 guys were like ECW to me, and I think they should be honored, yes.
Sandman's one, and even sitting there talking with Ramsey about this 2 weeks ago, that, like, I don't even necessarily think of him as, like, the greatest ECW champion, but is he not the guy that's held the belt the most times?
Yes, he is.
So... If
you're going to put Bam Bam in, you're going to put... And Bam Bam... Bam Bam and Shane is multiple...
but they did well in
multiple other organizations.
I'd say the same thing with Raven.
I think
100% Raven.
I think, but we're going to talk about like ECW basics. It's in Philadelphia. I think if it was Philadelphia, there would be Paul Heyman as your main.
Oh yeah, 100%, yeah.
Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, and then the one person which I know none of y'all will think about putting in, wouldn't even think about. And I think he should be in this Hall of Fame class, and I think he's the one that will never get enough credit. And when you think ECW, he's the second most important person in ECW history. Joel Styles needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
I agree. And look, precedent has been set with ring announcers or color commentators or play-by-play people being inducted in the Hall of Fame. And you got Gordon Soley that's in there, JR, Jerry Lawler, Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby Heenan, and granted, Bobby and Gorilla are in there for other reasons as well.
Same thing with
Jerry. But I mean, like, yeah, no, precedent has been set. Joey Styles should definitely be inducted in there.
Dude, the fact that he did it by himself, a one-man commentator, you know how difficult that is, and he did that all throughout ECW. He was also the play-by. He also did SmackDown with Taz, like.
But his style.
Well, not SmackDown.
Raw.
He did Raw.
His style was so unique because it's a one man, but then it was so outlandish and in your face and abrasive. It was ECW style.
Styles, yeah.
And I think with that it's people don't think about like him in Hall of Fame. I'm like, he is. Everyone talked about ECW. Oh, Heyman number one. Then it's be like Tommy Dreamer. It's Sabu. It's no. It's Joey Styles is the second most important person in ECW.
He was the soundtrack to ECW.
Yeah,
he's that. You know everything about ECW because of what Joey Styles says.
I mean,
and I think that's
for as much as we know JR's. Oh my God, we have. Oh my God. I mean, like that's also as iconic. I mean,
to me, that is the number one, like. Just catchphrase from an announcer to me. Yeah, you'd always think of JR, but like I always think, oh my God, like no matter what, everybody tries to do it. You had Mamma Mia or fucking whatever.
But he did it. But okay, so Paul, we're not going.
I know, but like different kinds of guys trying to like do stuff
because we're not
Mario.
He does it for Showtime.
He did it for boxing and for MMA for the longest.
Okay,
So like, it's nothing that he's not copying from. But I mean, that's his style. Especially he's bipolar too. So
yeah, and it's he's on. I mean, he's on the spectrum. Like, so his animated, commentary, like when he's literally getting out of the chair and he's whatever. That's kind of a part of, the spectrum there. But no, like Joey Styles definitely should be in there. To me the issue with Sandman is I think there's like several other ECW people that just because of the success they had in WCW, in WWF, you could maybe put them in ahead of Sandman. Sandman definitely a viable candidate.
But what I'm saying is, like, if it was in Philadelphia, that's your time to pull that fucking trigger.
I agree with Randy 100%. If you're gonna do it now.
That's like next year. Supposedly, it's in Minnesota. So, right off the top of my head, I have a fucking list for next year's Hall of Fame. Your headliner gotta be Brock.
Has to be.
Yeah. Your female, let's just fuck Sable.
I was about to say she's one of the ones that's on the list.
You're gonna have an African American on there. Oh, Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah.
Let's just do the Brock Lesnar. Hey, the Brock Lesnar Hall of Fame induction area. And it's all everybody has to deal with Brock Lesnar because what does Shelton Benjamin and Brock Lesnar go and get? They went to college together.
Yeah, they're roommates.
So hey, let's just do it. Boom, 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 boom. Minnesota.
Of course, there's one last ECW name that's out there that obviously will not get in for obvious reasons. But I mean, it's your boy New Jack. I figured I'd let you.
I was going Taz, but okay.
Well, I was going to touch on Taz too.
But no, we'll touch on New Jack. Obvious reasons, you can't do New Jack. I'm sorry, just too much. Too much.
You think he maybe gets a Legacy Wing nomination?
No. And I'm not going to be mad if they don't put him in there because look, he wasn't a great wrestler, but if you go look at it, he kind of helped invented a fucking style of wrestling that we got still today in freaking
really just like deathmatch
matches.
I mean, like deathmatch is deathmatch obviously Mick Foley, Terry Funk, but like. You think of like the style New Jack had with the
shit they're doing now. That's all.
A lot of it.
That's
the cheese grater, the stapler, all that stuff. That was New Jack.
Yep.
I mean, took it a little too far with stabbing people.
Now ECW, the only person I would say that it doesn't get a mention is Rhino.
I could make the argument for Rhino because he had a lot of success in WWE.
Yep.
And even TNA, which they won't acknowledge, but he had a lot of success.
They've been acknowledging TNA a bit more now that Trips is in
and they're kind of the Endeavor umbrella is kind of like bridging a small gap between them, allowing them to.
That's why I think you can make the case that if Taz is maybe still involved with TNA, that he have a better chance of getting into the Hall of Fame versus right now, as long as he's affiliated with AEW.
Yeah.
So like as I say, I didn't necessarily throw Taz in with the ECW crew. Because Taz is technically still active, maybe not as a wrestler, but just again with him being as involved in AEW.
Oh yeah,
I don't see that happening anytime.
Not anytime soon, but it will happen one day. Yeah.
Then we got like WCW names, or at least names where they were maybe bigger draws in WCW than they were in the WWF.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest name on that list to me is Lex Luger.
No. There's someone bigger than him.
Well, I was going to say I've got a few other names.
But there's someone bigger than Lex Luger.
Well, let's just touch on Lex Luger and give me yours after this, but I will say Lex Luger is very surprising to me that, maybe the Miss Elizabeth thing is a very big black eye, but I think with Lex recently,
he's gotten his life back in order. And I mean, the man
suffered enough. The guy's in a fucking wheelchair. Like,
and I mean, just like all of his accolades
since then
in WCW, just like his
just his WCW career alone,
it would make him Hall of Fame worthy. And like, look, they were literally going to pull the trigger on him
in WWE, in 1993,
as the guy to replace Hulk Hogan.
They tried.
They tried. It didn't pan out.
Fans didn't want
it, but. Again, it is still, though, that push that he got, the Lex Express, everything. I mean, it's a very memorable moment in WWE. Just, again, the fact that he hasn't even been considered for the Hall of Fame
it's pretty crazy.
is kind of shocking.
Yeah, I know.
And I know that like Luger has recently come out and said that like one of his dreams and one of his visions is being able to walk up to the podium.
That could be.
And get that speech. And I know DDP is big.
He's currently working with him right now. And
yeah. So I mean,
that,
if we're holding off on inducting Lex to have that moment,
then
that's okay. I totally understand that.
Because like you can't say anything that Lex doesn't deserve it because, dude, think about it. He beat Hulk Hogan for the WCW title in 1997 when Hogan, like WCW was at their peak when they were still beating WWE in the ratings.
Now, granted, he dropped it back to Hogan like a week later.
5-6 days later.
yeah, but still, that was a big deal.
That was a
and
huge
of course,
deal, yeah.
every from the roster came out and lifted him up there. Yeah.
So, but just saying, that was still a really huge deal, and that stands out to me in WCW Nitro. Like,
I was gonna say one of the other big names on the list from WCW was Vader. I don't like again.
They finally
someone
put him
bigger.
in.
Someone bigger.
They finally put him in.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, Vader. Like they did him wrong.
Yes.
Pre-Attitude Era, right at the beginning.
You
of
had
the
so
Attitude
long
Era.
to put him in, and they refused, and they waited till after he passed.
You had a dude that was such a monster when he was in WCW and in Japan and everything else, and then he comes to WWF.
He was injured.
And they shat on him after his first few months in the company.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, yeah, just to me, it's a travesty. He should be in. Brian Pillman is another name that you could make an argument.
Oh, I thought he was in. I didn't know he was in.
No, he's not in.
That's crazy. I mean, now that they got his son, Lexi King, and Brian Pillman Jr., obviously, in NXT, that'll happen, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to happen eventually. Dean Malenko is a big one.
I guess because he's an agent for AEW, but that's crazy, dude. He did so much for WWE.
He was an agent for WWE
for a long time. Yeah, that's shocking. Yeah.
I was gonna say, what's the big name that's on your list?
And he will never get in. It's Kevin Sullivan.
Oh, you know what? Yeah,
True that.
He's not gonna get in.
That's the biggest name, and maybe now because Vince is not there.
Yeah,
but
you know what?
But the contributions that he has done in wrestling has to be acknowledged, and I think he has to have that spot.
What Kevin Sullivan did in the wrestling business, his contributions are just, you don't understand. Like with WCW and just Florida wrestling, like just in general.
What he was doing in Championship Wrestling from Florida. Just with like that hell gimmick, or
he was the first guy to have like a supernatural type gimmick, really.
I mean, he did kind of the Manson family gimmick.
Yeah.
And he was like one of the first ones to really pioneer that. The fact that like the Luna Vachon, that
character that we have, is because of
Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah.
To be honest, give the man respect. He booked his own divorce.
True. I mean, granted, we could throw, obviously, will not be inducted for obvious reasons, but like Chris Benoit, dude, the wrestler contributed a lot to the business, but piece of shit human being. And
woman still should be.
Now, touch upon the Chris Benoit thing. The thing about Chris Benoit is like the double-edged sword is that like his in-ring performance every wrestler should watch, because in the ring he was unbelievable.
Yep.
But just sad what happened, because he was an all-time great in the ring, top 3 for me, like top 3, top 5 technical wrestler all time. But also what Ramsey just said, and we were going to get to woman. If you do a woman and don't call her Nancy Benoit, just call her Nancy, whatever her real last name was, you can do, because she does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame for me. She was back with Florida Championship Wrestling. She did ECW. She was a great manager, valet for WCW with the Horsemen. She absolutely deserves it, just based on that.
I was going to say, kind of talking about managers and valets, we already touched on her name earlier, Miss Elizabeth. Take the end of her life out of the equation and like her final years with Luger, but I mean, like, it's the first freaking woman of wrestling. We have Randy Savage in. Miss Elizabeth should be in there. Don't know who you would get to.
That's what I was thinking about. Who's going to be the person to induct her? I have no idea. But 100% Miss Elizabeth needs to be there, because we all remember early WWE days.
That's why you have the one where you put the legacy wing, so you don't have to talk about it.
Because it could be a little uncomfortable. But 100%.
Because about Bruiser Brody. Why you don't do the thing? Who you still in bed with? The WWE still close with? Colognes. Yeah.
Who
killed Bruiser? Okay, yeah, true.
You can't really.
They died under there watching the promotion, yes. But same thing with Miss Elizabeth. I just, for obvious reasons, she was like, every person remembers Miss Elizabeth. If you watched back in our days when we were kids, it was Macho Man, Miss Elizabeth. It just was a tag, like a unit. come on.
Yeah, so no, I mean, she should definitely
Hogan.
Oh, yeah.
Hogan could introduce her, yeah.
that might be controversial if Randy was looking down, but hey.
100%.
Let's talk about some Attitude Era guys. And now, granted, this is a guy that also had play in WCW, but Psycho Sid.
That's one.
I know it's not softball season, but I mean, still.
He main evented 2 WrestleManias, and he was a WWE champion twice. So, yes.
He was a top guy in both WCW
I agree. He was played a pivotal role in WCW, WWE, and also in ECW too.
He was in ECW for a window, for a cup of coffee.
But I thought maybe you were going to say, like, before you get into the era, that probably the biggest, besides, like, I think...
If you want to go old school, I can give you one right now, and it's one of those names, but just...
Yes.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I had a list of other names.
Go even more further would be, not further, but it'd be Jim Cornette.
I was about to get to that. And not just Jim Cornette, Midnight Express. I feel like...
But I think he needs to be... I think he should be inducted twice.
Yes.
Jim Cornette and
100%.
the Midnight Express, and then also Jim Cornette.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, Jim Cornette should definitely be inducted on his own as a manager. I know that, like, he's got a lot of backlash right now about, like, a lot of his comments that he made in NWA, which caused him to lose his job, justifiably so. But at the same point in time, it's like, take that out of the equation. You look at his contributions to wrestling as a whole.
I think fans are over that. I think enough time's elapsed. He'll come back eventually. Well, I don't know. Jim's just a bitter. Just who he is.
But
will he accept it?
But I mean, the other thing to me though is, like, you had him induct the Rock and Roll Express, and I feel like if you're gonna induct the Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express should definitely be in there, as that was a good rivalry in the 80s.
If you do the Midnight Express, would absolutely deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, and you have Jim Cornette. I believe Jim Cornette will be behaved.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he'll be on his best behavior.
Yeah.
One name that I was going to eventually get to, but you kind of hinted at it. He pulled it up. If we want to go back to, like, classic wrestlers, like, you know, from the Bruno days and the Pedro Morales days, you got Ivan Koloff.
Dude, that to me was like a shock.
The guy who ended Bruno's historic title reign.
Like 2,800, something crazy days. I think it was over 2,800 days. Like, that's insane. And the fact that Ivan Koloff was the guy that beat Bruno for it. He didn't have a long run, but that was so insane that he was that was crazy. People couldn't believe it.
Well, like, I know that one of the big reasons that he, in a sense, is blacklisted and why, you know, he's probably wasn't considered for Hall of Fame, at least while Vince was still involved, is because of the 2006 concussion lawsuit, which he was a prominent plaintiff in.
I know that, but that makes sense.
Because of that, same reason why we don't see Demolition in the Hall of Fame. Who was for the longest time your most prominent tag team, or at least they had the longest run with the belts.
Until New Day broke it, and then the Usos broke it after that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, Axe and Smash, Barry Darsow, and Bill Eadie. I mean, Darsow played a number of characters in WWE. Repo Man, that's right. But played a number of characters outside of Demolition Smash. But still, like, Demolition should be in there, and the reason why they're not is because of the concussion lawsuit. You can make the same case that that's one of the reasons why Koloff is blacklisted. However, I mean, this is going back to 2006 when that lawsuit was first filed. He should have been inducted long before that.
Well, Ivan Koloff
He was still active until 2013, though.
They've still inducted active wrestlers.
Yeah, no,
Look at Rey Mysterio.
But he was not at the time defined legacy with WWE. I forgot what promotion he was in.
I mean, he was in, like, AWA, WWF, WCW. I mean, he's literally been around multiple promotions.
Well, like AWA, guess when you induct him? Next year.
They better.
Because in Minnesota.
They
have to. They have to.
I was gonna say a couple of other Attitude Era names. I mean, look, it's kind of the hot topic right now. Do we see The Rock getting inducted anytime soon?
Oh, not anytime soon.
I mean,
not for a long time.
I mean, like, he's been out of the business for a while. I know he dips his toe back in every once in a while, but You know, that's a name that will definitely be saved for
Well,
a prominent.
I mean, the next big name aside from Brock Lesnar, which we brought next year from Minnesota, like you're gonna have Batista eventually. They're saving that one
yeah, I mean, he was supposed to be inducted
in LA.
Yeah, years ago, and it was supposed to be inducted years ago, and then the pandemic happened.
Yeah, true.
And then they were supposed to induct him in L.A., and then that got put off. So
he was supposed to be inducted in New York. I got put off because he had a movie. Then during the pandemic, they moved that off, and then in L.A.
He's another big name that they can save for a future day. Which they
Ken
will.
Shamrock's an interesting name because I mean he was a pretty prominent player in the Attitude Era. And I mean,
I say yes.
You have that UFC connection.
I mean, the fact that he won an Ultimate Fighter tournament, the fact that he's just a name. He was the first TNA champion. Not that this doesn't mean anything WWE, but like I'm just throwing that out there. But he's Ken Shamrock, man. I mean, he still went back after WWE. He went back to MMA. He's just a name. Maybe because of Endeavor with UFC. You know, I don't know.
I'll throw these out real quick hits because I know we've kind of been running on a bunch of these names, and I think there's maybe a few more that we can maybe spend some more time on. Steiner Brothers. I know Rick Steiner.
No, they're in.
They're in?
Yeah, they're in.
When did they get in?
A couple of years ago, but I remember it. They were in because I remember.
They because they gave Scott and they're like, they're really gonna give me a live mic.
Yeah, Scott did say that they're absolutely all right.
Touche, because I could have sworn I'd seen them on like a slight list. He's in there individually. Is he in there tag team?
No, they're in a tag team. They were team.
Okay, all right. Never mind. I even scrolled through that damn list trying to see all the Hall of Fame inductees. I mean, it shows them as superstars, but
yeah. But no, I agree. For the longest time, he wasn't in because of all the stuff he said. Obviously,
King Kong Bundy.
He's really not in.
He's not in.
Wow, that's a shocker. He main evented WrestleMania 2. He was an established name. He was on TV shows back in the 80s.
I mean, he was big in the new generation as well.
I mean, I don't really know. I can't recall too much about King Kong Bundy, but I'd have to go with Ramsey on this one.
I feel like if you got Coco Beware in there, you could fucking put King Kong Bundy.
King Kong was a name, and I figured that name drew a lot of weight back in the day.
Hey, I got joy out of Coco Beware. I didn't get no joy out of fucking King Kong Bundy.
Dynamite Kid?
I don't see that one. I agree 100% yes, because every little person, or not little, I'm
Legacy
not
Wing.
I'm talking the shorter guys. The style to Dynamite Kid. Bret Hart will teach you.
That's when you have a Legacy Wing and you put him through the Legacy Wing where you don't have to talk about him.
Yeah, because he was kind of a dick, but
that, and like I said, the controversial parts, especially if you have a Dark Side of the Ring episode about you. That's a Legacy Ring wing.
Well, on that note, adorable Adrian Adonis.
Legacy Wing.
Yeah, you can't really
you
touch
can be
upon
in,
him
but
too much.
you can't really. I wouldn't.
Ken Patera.
No.
Not even for throwing a boulder through a McDonald's window.
Hey man, apparently
you put him in the ring called Holy Shit Wing, and you put him with New Jack, and you put him with the people who be like the incredible stupid shit, and you put him in that ring, in that wing of the Hall of Fame.
So did we put Marty Jannetty in that wing as well?
that he should be in for the fact that guy that got fired the most record that'll never be broken and just fuck up of all time, he needs to go in just for that.
The guy that helped Shawn Michaels get over by escaping through a barbershop window.
But I mean, like, but at the same time, the man, no, he'll never get in. I just don't see it.
No,
especially with all the crazy shit that's been going on lately with his life. No.
Here's one that. Here's one that's kind of like an interesting. William Regal.
Oh well, that is absolutely 100% gonna happen.
It will. I know it will happen eventually, especially now that he's back in WWE. But
yeah, he makes his appearance. He made an appearance not that long ago in NXT because he was calling out his son because his son's the new whatever that trophy that they're holding, the Heritage Cup. Mm-hmm. His son's in a group that has it. And he's like the main star, and it's William Regal basically confronted his son like, "Let's see what you got, kid."
I'll do a hot take. You will never see three people in the Hall of Fame by choice. You're not going to see Regal, Triple H, or The Rock in the Hall of Fame.
I can actually understand that because they're so big behind the scenes, it just doesn't make sense. Like
you're not going to see it. Just like how Vince never wanted to be in there. They're so humble enough. Like The Rock knows there's no reason to do that. You don't have to do that. There's nothing that's like it's not going to be I have to. It's not going to make or break him. Same thing with Triple H. Same thing with Regal. Regal is you only know about Regal behind the scenes if you really know, like if you're a mark. But like wrestling career, fuck no, crap no.
I could make an argument, but at the same time, he actually kind of screwed himself over.
But like behind the scenes, definitely he deserves a Hall of Fame, but he will never take it because it's something that he's just not that type of person.
Okay.
We touched on a few of the women that I've had on my list. I mean, China, we know maybe like some more time has to pass before that can happen. So. We kind of brought up Sable potentially going in next year in Minnesota. Victoria was a name that I was kind of surprised because, I mean, she did a lot.
That one really surprised me when I read the list as well. I really don't know why.
I think you got put in God damn, what's her name?
You going back to the 90s or?
No, 2000s, Taker's wife.
That's going to happen. Michelle McCool. She'll get it for sure. Just because
I know she's talking about it. She made a statement on Taker's podcast that she'll be willing to come back in the ring. Make a comeback.
I mean, she does get spots here and there, but
I mean, she has popped up a time or two.
She said she really would like have a match with Charlotte, and I think
could happen.
She said she's in shape and
she's in good enough shape.
Taker was like, oh yeah.
It takes out of sway to be able to do it. Shit, Taker wants to make a comeback, but I was like, no.
No, he's not.
No.
Yeah, no. Please.
He goes. I want to wrestle. I feel like I could, but
his body just no. The amount of surgeries.
Look, keep doing your podcast. Keep doing your thing.
Doing your shows.
I love that you're peeling back the curtain a bit more
too,
each time. Gail Kim.
Oh yeah, that one. I guess because it's just she's talked bad about WWE after she left the second time, and the fact that she just like quit. Maybe they were pissed about her for doing that.
I mean, but she was somebody that was very underutilized.
She was in the sense that like the reason I love Gail Kim obviously because I'm a TNA guy. Like she was with WWE first, then she went to TNA, and TNA she actually revolutionized the women's division and made it to me women's wrestling, not the divas, because WWE had the divas, TNA had women's wrestling. And I thought a big proponent of that was Gail Kim.
Well, they had knockouts, but
I'm sorry.
But they treated it as true women's wrestling.
Fair point, but they actually did, like you said, yes. They actually had women's wrestling in their matches. But they did have knockouts as well.
I mean, like, you can make a compelling case for throwing Awesome Kong in there as well, but, like, when you look at, like, Gail Kim had more staying power in WWE versus Karma.
She literally made her debut and she's like pregnant, and so it was like, and then that was it for her.
Yeah, I mean, she was there for a cup of coffee.
Can I be honest? There's one woman that I think's deserving to be in at any moment. I think they need. I think you can pull the trigger. I think they should have. She should have won that. She's one that you could have pulled it last year, could pull it this year, pull it next year, pull it the year after, but Natty, and you can do it while she's still active because
you could. There's precedent for it.
Yeah, you get Ray, but I mean, like, if you want to talk about like how Ray is for the men, Natty is for the women.
Consistency.
That one I actually 100% agree with you on. I could see her being the first woman. It would mean so much, and she totally deserves it. Yeah, have her be inducted in the Hall of Fame while still technically being an active wrestler. Yes.
I'll have two names at least for the celebrity wing. And then we can maybe close it out with that, unless you have a few other names.
Ramsey touched upon it last
week.
Well,
look,
and I know the two names you're going to say.
We will save the big one, because to me it's like one of the biggest glaring omissions.
Oh, 100%, I'll agree with you.
But like one name that jumped out at me that was like, holy shit, yeah. I mean, like if you have some of these other celebrities in there, how the fuck do you not have him? Dennis Rodman.
Oh, I know you're going there. I thought you were going with.
Like I said, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. But I'll just say Dennis Rodman. Just as far as a lot of the shit that went down with the NWO and WCW, he played a huge part of that. Even outside of the Jay Leto and Karl Malone.
Do they have a celebrity that wasn't in WWE in the celebrity wing? I don't think so. That's why. That's like when I'm gonna say I don't see it happening. It'd be cool as shit. I'd love it. Okay, yep. That one was. Wait,
that was last year.
Wait, Andy Kaufman's in?
Yeah, he got in last year. And we were
right.
saying last year about how it's a fucking travesty that it's taken him that long.
I'm sorry, because like my brain's all over the place, and a lot of the lists I read were older, and Andy Kaufman was on those lists, so like I'm still thinking he wasn't in there.
Yeah, no, he finally got in last year.
Finally,
so, yeah, finally undid that injustice.
No, that one absolutely 1,000% needed to happen.
But yeah, no, I mean, like I think Dennis Rodman would be an ideal candidate, and then Ramsey and I's biggest glaring omission. How the fuck do you not have Cyndi Lauper in your fucking Hall of Fame?
Dude, guys.
How the fuck do you have Liberace in there? How the fuck do you get Muhammad Ali going in now?
All of them WrestleMania 1. The biggest catcher for WWE at that time.
The Rock and Wrestling Connection.
And you don't understand, like, Cyndi Lauper was like the top women's singer in 1984-85. When they did Girls Just Want to Have Fun, they had Captain Lou Albano.
She was the top pop artist, period.
Yeah, in the country. And MTV was like the hottest thing at the time because it came out in like the early 80s. So you had this bridge with like the stars of like music and like the Rock and, like you said, Rock and Wrestling Connection. Cyndi Lauper was The Rock, and then you had like Hulk Hogan.
You finally got Wendy Richter in there a couple of years ago. You have Lou Albano. You have Moolah. Mm-hmm. You're missing that fourth piece of that.
I'm guessing it's a Cyndi Lauper rejecting it. I have no idea. I have no clue why.
If Cyndi Lauper has legit turned them down for the Hall of Fame, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But still, the fact that she is not in there
is insane.
And like just her contribution, especially to the growth of the WWF.
Would WrestleMania be as big as it was had Cyndi Lauper not kind of done the press leading up to the first WrestleMania? We don't know.
What was it? I mean, like the war to settle the score.
Yeah. I mean, Roddy Piper like got in her face and like made himself even further of a heel.
Smashed her gold record or platinum record over her head.
Yeah, he pushed her down too or something. Like,
yeah. But I mean, like that MTV, that MTV closed circuit thing, which I mean, it was Hogan Piper.
Yeah.
And it was Wendy Richter and Moolah.
Oh yeah.
Like I mean, that was your two big things on MTV that. I think it was up until the Rock's "This Is Your Life" segment. That was like the highest rated wrestling segment in broadcast history.
Wow, I 100% believe it. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
So like again, she's a huge part of that. How is she not in?
Do you have any theories on that?
See here that she was. Oh, that's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
First thing, she's not even in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What the fuck's wrong with this fucking country?
Dude, don't even get me started on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They got a bunch of people that aren't in it that I'm like in amaze that they aren't in it.
That's kind of a cult at this point. It's
become its own thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very political. Like not like it. You got to know people and all this, and if they don't like you, they're not gonna put you in.
But yeah, no, like, look, let's make this right. And I would say, like, look, next year, Minnesota, just fuck it, get it. She had kind of like a quirky accent. You could say it was maybe like, you know.
I mean, she's from Brooklyn. She's in New York.
She's from New York, but I mean, she's got like a little crazy accent. Fuck it, throw her in next year in Minneapolis. Come on, make it right, WWE. Is there any name that we haven't mentioned that you think we definitely missed that we should have thrown in there?
Probably, but I thought we touched upon.
Let's just say shit. This is going up on YouTube. Y'all in the comments. If there's any names on here that we missed that you feel like should be in there, and I'll stop you right here. As much as we love Owen Hart, Martha will never allow him to be in the Hall of Fame for obvious reasons.
Yep.
And, like, you can make the case now that he's no longer a part of the company at all, Vince McMahon.
He'll never.
But again, a lot of shit going on with that right now. A lot of lawsuits and allegations. So clearly, we're not going to mention that. But if there's a name that is missing, by all means, feel free to throw it in the comments and we can maybe dissect that at a later date. I was going to say, anything else here?
I can't think of it.
I think they should do, I really believe they should follow like UFC and do like matches.
Oh, you know what? That's what we're talking about.
I like do like Macho Man.
I've had several people
Macho
throw that
Man
out there.
versus Macho
Steamboat.
Man versus Ricky Steamboat. WrestleMania 3. The matches: Undertaker, Shawn, I mean, shit, they could be in there.
You could do rivalries,
like the rivalries.
You could do rivalries, and then you could do matches. Yeah,
because I think there's so many you can do, and you can
100%
highlight. Even if you don't want to, let's say, really induct. If they don't want to induct, like let's say Raven and Tommy Dreamer, but you could put that rivalry because that is a Hall of Fame rivalry and storyline. So you can do like those parts and have that kind of like mixed into it. So.
I know everybody's gonna say this guy's name that we missed, but he's still kind of somewhat active.
Yeah, John Cena would be. I mean, look, whenever they do decide to put him in, like whatever John Cena feels like it is the appropriate time, he will go in.
Oh, 100%.
There's no question.
He said he's retiring. He wants to do he wants to have his last match within the next 5 years.
Yeah, I thought he said about like 50 or something, but like that's.
He said in the next 5 years, so yeah.
And I think soon enough.
I think he's the type of person that he won't get in the Hall of Fame until he needs that pop in, like, oh shit, my record sales not, my movie sales is not going. Let's get in.
Yeah.
Put me in the Hall of Fame, please.
He's a very business first kind of guy, so I could totally see that.
Oh yeah.
If we were to make an actual WWE Hall of Fame, because I know that's been another big criticism, is the fact that we don't have a physical Hall of Fame. I get they have the traveling Hall of Fame that goes with them wherever WrestleMania goes.
Yeah.
But the fact that they still don't have a standalone Hall of Fame, where would you put it?
I have a bad feeling about this, but I think there is one.
It's Saudi, right?
Yeah. I think that the WWE experience, I think they have that wing where they have all the... I had this feeling. But I think what you have to have, where you should have it is, like I said, years ago on this podcast, I said that WWE needs to have make like an MGM, a Disney World set where you have NXT, you can have matches, you can have like your own little arena, you can have your TV tapings, like small TV tapings, your NXTs, but also have your WWE experience like they'd have in Saudi. You have your Hall of Fame section, and you do it in Orlando because that's the land of all wherever.
I feel like you have to have it in Orlando. And like, look, worst case scenario, you could put it at the Performance Center or put it Performance Center adjacent.
Well, like I said, that would be a whole. It should be like a whole, campus where you have your own arena, you have the NXT, you have the training center, you have the Performance Center, you have a Hall of Fame, you have the WWE experience. It's like going to MG. It's like going to Disney. It's like going to SeaWorld, but it's WWE World.
I mean, look, it's a license to print money. I mean, look, they're making money hand over fist right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and by the way, the WWE experience is not being provided by WWE. It's fucking made by fucking FanDuel. Not FanDuel, Fanatics. Fanatics is the one that's putting through.
Because I remember when we went to the WWE experience last time they came here, like I enjoyed that. It was just like a little, like they showcased all the Hall of Fame, not all the Hall of Fame, but a lot of the Hall of Famers.
I took so many pictures.
Yeah, I had the
going
pictures
through
too.
there, and like literally, I think you and I probably spent at least about an hour and a half going through and just
they had
reading everything.
They had like all the WrestleMania big posters, like these big, like almost like a wall, and then you would showcase like the wrestlers, and then they would have like the wrestlers' outfits, memorabilia, titles. It was just really neat, and I liked that. I really dug it. And then they had like the bronze statues, those big statues of like Dusty Rhodes, Ultimate Warrior, Ric Flair. You had some of the WCW titles, even older titles like from other promotions. Like it was just really cool, and yeah, that would be neat to see. Now, do I see it being successful in one location? If you did it anywhere, it'd have to be Orlando because Orlando's a travel destination.
You make it kind of a centerpiece of like a tourist attraction.
But I don't see them WWE letting other people like fans in because you have the Performance Center here. We don't want fans to see all this and interfere.
Well,
you don't have to.
Well, no,
you don't
put it in the Performance Center. I'm saying
like,
you put it in that complex.
Yeah,
you make it a separate building.
If you do like a campus, like think of a college campus. Yeah. Well, you can't go watch football practice.
I don't know. Yeah.
So it's separate. You can do like that separately, but. Let's say like your Performance Center, if you're up and coming, but like your NXT stars, you can have a separate like workout center, where you can do like kind of like what these college campuses do for visits, where you can put the one-way mirror the one-way mirror.
Well,
and you can have the fans like look at them work.
They also had
but also at the same point in time, like I'm sure that they cut up in the gym, and it's like one of those things that like
and you don't want to have like perverts or whatever watching the women work out and all that shit.
Now, granted, I will say this: if you do have like certain sessions where it's like a staged workout, that's one thing. If you...
They did like a match or two during the WWE experience. You could have like rookie people you don't know about
that's the whole thing about that whole thing. You can have your NXT development. You can have you can do like... We also got too... It's the reason why you put in Orlando is because like almost all of your superstars live in fucking Orlando.
Exactly. Everybody lives in Florida.
So you can have them. So you can have this rotation of them coming in. So you can do like matches. Like you want to do like the...
You can do matches, you can do meet and greets, you can do photo ops with like retirees, you could do, I mean, like, there's a lot of different ways that you can
do
incorporate
it, but you can
that
separate things where so they can't access things like that. But
you could also,
where it's just
you could literally spend a day at WWE, like to that point, like, hey, we're going to have an NXT taping later tonight. You know, but you can come and go through the Hall of Fame, you can do the meet and greets, you can go and do this and do that. And then you wrap it all up at the end of the day with like the taping of NXT.
Yeah,
so it's I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can.
But you could
also,
but it doesn't have to just be an NXT taping. Like I said, you could do like the rookies that we're talking about. They're doing the Roku channel, the next gen. You could have those guys put on matches to get better in front of crowds.
But it's NXT.
You know. It's still on the NXT umbrella, but they're not on NXT yet, but they're getting their way to NXT.
But like, okay, like case in point, when WCW used to film at MGM Studios, and it'd be like, you know, Saturday night wrestling, or it'll be like world, like WCW Worldwide or whatever like that.
Do, like when they film like superstars or stuff like that, they always have it before Raw or before SmackDown.
Yeah, like main event and all that stuff.
You can actually film it at the center and then have like straight to thing. You know, it's things you can. It's a.
God, I still forget about that, man.
You can do your whole X Twitter. What's that new fucking show that they're doing where it's like literally like 5-minute matches?
Oh, that's what I was just thinking about. They have a thing where they do like a wrestle like quick thing they're doing. Yeah, like 5-minute matches.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
So, but like with that, but I'm like, if they do that, then hey, you know, that's just a way they can make more money. You can incorporate the UFC with it too, because you can do like a UFC, WWE campus.
Make it a joint venture, UFC and WWE Hall of Fame.
I mean, you had because like Michael Chandler gave like a big promo thing on one of the WWE events talking about like
cut a promo on Connor. Yeah,
I was like,
so and they are looking to do more, you know, mingling between the two. So
you know, I just think for them, there's just going to be more. If I'm AEW, I'm worried like, oh shit, the options they can have to make more money and to get more viewership is crazy.
Yeah, that's unfair.
It's crazy, but hey, that what happens when you make a brand, because you know they have the one thing in their pocket that people are gonna fucking sit out and cheer. Fucking WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam. It's embedded into the system. It's like, all right, it's like no matter what AEW can get popular, they'll never have an event that's more successful than WrestleMania.
No, they won't.
They will not have a event that's more successful than Royal Rumble. It's the numbers are just there. It's ingrained. It's entrenched into wrestling. It's like, all right, what's the biggest event? WrestleMania. You know, you can have the shows that's in New Japan. Oh, you know, it's big, but still everyone's still talking about like, yeah, I did that, but. I gotta go.
It was flavor of the month, like you know.
I gotta go WrestleMania. WrestleMania is the top dog.
Yeah. I
don't care what anybody says. You gotta. If only I don't care about WWE, that means WWE is not interested in you. I just put it basically.
Look,
go on and say it.
But like to the point about WrestleMania being as big as it is, there's a reason why WrestleMania weekend is what it is, and the fact that you have all these smaller promotions, indie promotions that all gather. In the city that WrestleMania is in, because you literally have the entire
tens of thousands of
convening into one spot. So
yeah, I know, man. Like every time WrestleMania comes in, if you've never experienced WrestleMania weekend, it's crazy. Like there's so many shows. You have all these wrestlers doing shows, man. Like we went to shows at the House of Blue. Then you have like the alternate promotions before AEW. You know, we had the Ring of Honor,
Ring
New
of
Japan,
Honor,
but they
Super
had
Card of
Super
Honor.
Card of Honor. And then you had like other little indie promotions doing
Yeah,
their
like
thing.
you got a variety of different podcasts, like wrestling podcasts that would be there doing live shows, and it's
Oh, a
like
bunch
literally
of them.
you're bouncing all over the place.
Yeah,
but
'cause
it makes for
it's fun.
a hell of a weekend
Yeah, 'cause
because you try to jam in as
Dude,
much
it
as you can
starts
possibly fit.
Thursday night, man. We went to the House of Blues. We saw JR do his show, and then Friday it's a whole thing, man. You just make a multiple day. You're gonna be in for a shit.
So yeah, you do. You get bang for your buck when you go to WrestleMania weekend.
You'll be spending a lot of bucks, but you're gonna get a lot of bang for your buck too.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, I mean, with that, we will bring our WrestleMania preview to a close. Next time you see us, we'll be reacting to WrestleMania, and I'm sure we'll throw some AEW stuff in there because, by God, we went through an entire show without really talking about.
We'll see
that.
how we feel tonight at the
And look, and I feel like AEW has been on fire, at least with content. Now, if we can get viewership and ticket sales,
Yeah, we'll talk about
ticket
AEW.
sales are getting there, but like we need to get viewership up. But that's a story
We'll
for
say
another
that for
day.
another day. But next time we reach you, it's going to be the aftermath of WrestleMania.
So it's not getting there. Dude, you have one big giant ass show that you didn't pronounce due to rumor. No, let's be real.
Let it go.
Yeah,
Let it go.
And then they were in
Go
and then they were in Toronto,
Okay.
and he still did like
The 5,500.
$5,000 tickets less than what their competitors did.
Anyway,
Bill. But yeah.
I was gonna say, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell for Fat Banter Podcasts or Fat Banter Productions.
Yes.
That way, whenever you get the Fat Banter Podcast, whenever you get K&R, Rage and Marks Wrestling Podcast, that way any of those videos pop out, you'll be able to see them. And we appreciate the support.
Always.
As I say, for Ravishing Randy, signing off.
The TNK signing off.
And for Rampage Ramsey, thank you all, and see y'all after WrestleMania.
Enjoy the show.